Hi there, this is yours truly, Clarice talaga, and today is the 10th of September 2021. So in my background, you will get to listen to real-time noises of the street. These are the sights and sounds where I live. So this is really a live broadcast. Praise God for a better weather that we have now after the onslaught of Typhoon Julina, and it had really left behind debris and flooding, which can get us down, but we must look forward and better prepare. Like in our house, we got to see the where the leaking is coming from. Actually, there are many leaks that are in need of repair. So coming from a major repair, it's discouraging to know that we haven't arrived yet. We have not finished with our house repair. But when I see the news on what had happened to those really devastated by the storm, I cannot dare complain. I can just pray that things will be better for everyone. And also, I would like to use this opportunity to bring to point how much we have to take care and protect each other, like in terms of the advisories on account of COVID-19, still a pandemic, still a serious health threat for everyone. This has not spared any family, any any region or any district in our country, in the neighboring countries, in every part of the globe. The pandemic is still an utmost concern. And just the other night, actually, we got to discuss about how we see ourselves, like within the year, with the rest after 2021, 2022. We have put on hold the plans that we have, expecting COVID-19 to be gone by this time. So the whole of 2020 was spent on hold, being locked out, and praying and wishing, hoping that the authorities would get the handle of it. Bakit po? Ano po? Ayan. Tao. So, yeah. So you can see this is real time and live. So what I want to say is that the moment that we get sick, the family at this time will bear the brunt of the problem, because physically we are not accessible to being by the bedside sick, being sick and at the bedside of the sick. So that's why we really have to take better care of ourselves. And in our case, diba, when my mother got sick, before she died, every member of her immediate family, the Cherry Boy and I, my kids, my grown-up children, the in-laws, I had, Joanna May was already married to Paul at that time, and Patrick was there. So we were around talking about it. Paano kaya yun? How about when I really get sick, someone like me, diba? My former husband has already a family of his own. So hindi rin talagang, it's born of practicality. And emotionally, there's always that something tagging at my emotions. Like, what, um, how will it feel to have somebody who share the load, who will share the responsibility of like what it entails to make a household going and running, to be there for each member of the family. Since I've been single for so long, I think I've become too set on my ways. But diba, I when we got to discussing about our romantic life, our love life, I realized that I still have that soft spot wherein no matter how practical it will be, I would always reserve some emotions, some feelings for the man that I will eventually end up with. Just like Jacqueline, diba? And when we are discussing about friends, about ourselves, our personal lives, it gets us articulating about our innermost thoughts, diba? Like my aunt now, and is around her, the immediate family is like the siblings, the remaining siblings of my mother, rallying around her to get her going. So it's really nice to have that family complete, somebody to share uh, those moments when you need them the most. Like, ako din, you know, it's a moment of truth for me. What happens when I can't get up in the morning, when I have to rely on someone? Will that someone welcome the, the responsibility, the hardship of taking some of the loads from me because of my incapacitated state of health or well-being? God forbid that I become so paralyzed with mental disorder or emotional baggage. What happens then? What happens when I don't become the strength and the support system for my daughters? Who can we turn to? So those things that a single person has to tackle, not day by day, but during times like this, when you see how the family becomes the support system of someone who is probably in very serious condition, just like my aunt, diba? So I'm glad to know that, my cousins are there and the whole family are praying in our, in different ways. But it's a moment of truth. I cannot escape the, contemplation of how it will be, a single person like me when I do not devote my time to, like, I cannot really, I cannot expect now, okay, this is the shopping list for the man that I want to be with, this, that, I would check this and that without without any regard for any sentimentality for how would he feel, how I would feel, how, my daughters will feel about it. So it's moment like this that brings out the thoughts of how 2021 and 2022, how we see it. Like 1 year from now, 2 years from now, a single person like me, a single person like my daughter who's getting on in years and who must somehow be pushed into the responsibility. If she wants to start a family, she would have to eventually think about it in the same way that I cannot be the pillar of strength 5 years from now, 10 years from now, diba? So these are the practical thoughts also that have not escaped us. Speaking of which, yesterday I attended a webinar in connection to my long-standing research that came from my own situation. So in Australia, I have learned that this is a quick take on the situation there. You know, the history of Australia is really very interesting. And I am not ashamed to say that I have learned of the history, how the nation was born, through fiction, through romantic fiction. And from there, it sparked my curiosity to read on about what really came to be, you know, separating the fact from fiction. Anyway, I attended this webinar, Preventing Modern Slavery from the Standpoint of a Prospective Employee and Employer. So I got to listen to, from having that perspective of being an employer and being an employee. I can be an employee in to a certain extent, where if there is a project where our company would be hired, I would, as CEO, I would become part of the hired help. And so it's very important to me where I stand and how I'm going to present my own unique situation so that I will not be bringing it to the company that we will have a contract with. So I am comparing Republic Act 10364 with the briefing on the status of preventing modern slavery in Australia. So Republic Act 10364 is our own version of anti-human trafficking. Actually, the official title is the Expanded Law Against Human Trafficking of 2012. If I have jumbled the term, pardon me, I have lots on my plate at this time. And the provisions that in the bulletproof of this webinar and the provision of which are contained in the primer, being the website of DILG, the Department of Interior and Local Government, had uploaded PDF file. Actually, I can truly say that for us to itemize and to pay so much attention to the minutest detail, to address the gray areas, we are catching up. For Australia not to have this in the minutest detail in their law, because for us it's already law of the land, Republic Act number 10364. And for them, it's still in the, according to the facilitator, it's still in their law-making body. So it hasn't been signed into law. It hasn't been signed into law just yet. So the damage would really be on the brand, because we have to understand that the consumer description, the consumer activism, the consumer activism in Australia and in other industrial nations, industrial country, we are so far behind that we have to put it on law. For them, it is enough, you know, that something like this can damage the brand, can damage can bring a slant to the sentiment of the consumers. It's enough to get to send shivers and the fear of God to the corporate, you know, to the board. It's enough for them because they have a first-hand experience on what slavery is. But for us, we have to like put it in black and white. We have no idea that this thing that's happening to us for several centuries, it is already called slavery, bondage, debt bondage, and so on. It can already be construed as, you know, white slavery or, you know, like forced marriages, forced labor. These things we take for granted. But now we have to start somewhere. And Republic Act number 10364 has it for us, diba? So in comparison lang between the highly industrialized countries and those who have been aware of what slavery is, and those of us who, who are just, you know, beginning to see the light of day, that these things cannot continue, well, I would like to, you know, these are the things that for me, what I hope to contribute through my information platform and out of the experiences that I have. And in connection to that, I want to say that in my coming, actually it will be my second visit to the postmaster. Do you know that this is another trivia? During the First World War, or in the dystopian film, dystopian reality that's captured on film, one of the most important functions would come with the service that the postal service will render to the people who are scattered because of war, because for whatever tribulation that will make us suffer when the electronics and the technology don't deliver for us. It will be the sturdy and dependable legs and feet of the people who will make sure that interconnection and communication will keep the civilization going. So in dystopian reality, the role of the postmaster general, like the postmaster general, that's where the titles are coming from. They must find a way to deliver the long-awaited communication so that the coordination and interaction between the survivors would make the civilization going. So in my the index, the footnotes, if I can just read, the Universal Postal Union established by the Treaty of Berne of 1874. Oops, I'm on live, so I have to decline. Wait. So, So yun. The Universal Postal Union established by the Treaty of Berne of 1874 is a specialized agency of the United Nations that coordinates postal policies among member nations So the Universal Postal Union, established by the Treaty of Berne of 1874, is a specialized agency of the United Nations that coordinates postal policies among member nations, in addition to the worldwide postal system. Universal Postal Union, or UPU, specialized agency of the United Nations that aims to organize and improve postal service throughout the world and to ensure international collaborations in this area. Its headquarters is Bern, Switzerland, and the parent organization is United Nations Economic and Social Council. You would stop wondering and see the logic of interconnection, right? To this day, postal and courier services form a key part of the global communications according to World Trade Organizations. So if you are heavily dependent on technology and electronics to do your thing, to get the days go by, to finish through the day, I have news for you. Technology and electronics have not supplanted the function and the efficacy and the sufficiency that services rendered by our postal services. So, and with that, I want to share with you, So, and with that, I want to share with you the what had kept me busy for the whole week, and I was the one who had to be at the beck and call of the professionals who were doing our place, who had been rendering service to make this place habitable. And so, oh my gosh, this, I would like to say thank you to these two professionals who really extended beyond the call of duty, beyond what we were prepared, what we were able to pay for them. They have extended their services para lang matapos ang repair sa house. So I want to share with you the stats. Actually, we haven't finished. We are not yet done with the repair, but just watch it, enjoy how it had come so far.
Hello, today is the 6th of September 2021 and it's the beginning of another work week. It's a Monday and I want to show you how far we've come with a house improvement that of course we didn't do on our lonesome, by our lonesome, because we had hired professional help to accomplish it in no time at all, because it will take us probably a decade to a century if we're the ones who will still get familiarized with the tools coming from a no backgrounder. It's going to be an impossible task. So what we're so happy about with the home improvement is that there's a partition. There is a larger space for get-together where the family can bond, because it used to be that this space, this living room is so constrained with all the hoarders baggage. But because of the house improvement, we're forced to get rid of some stuff to allow for space so that when the family gets together, there'll be enough to move around, but there's enough space for us not to be cramped. And what I'm so glad about the home improvement is the chance to put to the wall the photos, the photos of my daughters in their graduation toga. I'm so proud of them. And May has a complaint of that her photo is the only black and white photo because I couldn't see where we had placed for safekeeping the original graduation photos. And this photo is in need of update. Juanito is not there, and there are some additions to the family that these spaces are for. So we are allotting some space. Of course, I wasn't here on my solo, so I'm choosing the photo that I want to be placed side by side. And I got a lot of criticisms for my curtain. I am the only one, for the record, I am the only one who wants these curtains. But it doesn't matter because this is my room and Clarice rules in this room. So even though they say that this curtain doesn't look classy and it doesn't look sophisticated, it cheers me up. You know, I want the printed prints, what do you call that, the various shapes and colors. The moment I wake up, it gets me going rather than the plain, which doesn't do much for my creativity for the day. These curtains, different panel for these windows, in its weird sense of fashion or design, it starts my creative juice going for the day. So this curtain stays. The set of curtains stays for my bedroom. And Jacqueline asked me that since I'm not known as a pink lady, why did I paint my bed and this side table pink? For practicality and funds, to maximize the funds, they are already the colors of the paint that she bought in excess. So why not use pink when I'm very flexible anyway? And this this is my undies, and from outside the room they will be hidden, from this mess will be hidden, and I like it that way. So on top of the cabinet, I'm still sorting them out, but I'm halfway there, I'm getting there. So I like my room now that it has more spaces for me to move around. Functional is the term, where I can try on some clothes that I want to wear for the day, and at night my bed, which usually I share with a lot of stuff that the floor couldn't keep anymore. So the stuff, I have a place for the stuff to be placed for proper housekeeping. So I'm glad that I'm halfway there. That's right. And then this is Jacqueline's room. The door is brown. Yeah. These are the color combination that she had insisted on. And oops, look at the floor. She's quite proud of the color combination and the design of the floor which she had chosen.
So before I end, I want to read the first part, this letter that I will be personally handing, so that it will be read in its entirety when I'm there, or I would be, I would be asked to summarize the content of this letter. So, dear Sir, Madam, bearer of this letter, who is one and the same person as the undersigned, presents this letter to Philippine Quezon Province to Field Post, Philippine Postal Corporation, Quezon Province, written. My letter is written in both Filipino and English language. The purpose of which is because this is a formal communication intended for our fellow Filipinos who can better understand what this is all about in our local and native language. But because it will also be submitted to foreign entities, both in the government and in the private sector outside the Philippine jurisdiction, I have put the translation in the same body of letter. Ang may dala po ng liham na ito sa inyong iginagalang na tanggapan ay siya ring nakalagda bilang tao na sumulat sa Field Post Quezon Province sa dalawang lengguwahe. Ang dahilan po nito ay upang ang pangkaraniwang mamamayan ng ating lokalidad, lungsod na Lucena, lalawigan ng Quezon, ay maunawaan ang dahilan ng pagtungo ko ngayon upang ako'y magpakilala. At dahil ang CP po ng liham, CP, copy ng liham na ito ay aking isusumiti sa ibang kumpanya, organisasyon at pamahalaan sa labas ng Pilipinas, may nabuti ko po na ako din mismo ang magpaliwanag sa wikang English na mauunawaan nila kung para saan ang liham na ito. And more of that in the coming broadcasts. This is your study, Clarissa talaga, and I want to say, keep safe. And one of the things that really, for me, had very effective way that we can do for our loved ones is, pray, because we have a God who is all-knowing, who is all-powerful, and that He does, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, so that anyone who will have faith in Him, who will believe in Him, will be saved. So whatever it means to each of us, we know that we have a God that whom we can come to in our time of need. So maraming salamat po. This is your truly, Clarissa talaga. And please observe. Don't let your guards down, because the threat of the virus is very much in the air. It's still amidst us. So if we want to get out of this finally, to start some sort of, getting back to normalcy, we have to protect and care for each other. Thanks.